Thank you very much. Of course, the papers are saying quite a lot. But one of the very wonderful things we're seeing today is the prophecy from Baba Adeboye seeing more fire disasters in the year 2025, alongside politics, insecurity, and the economy. So we'll take it up from here. Thank you guys for what you all have done so far. Olamide, let's begin quickly with the Nation newspaper. And this is on politics. Presidency to Atiku, El-Rufai Obi, others will meet in 2027. Remember, Olamide, the drums of 2027 is already beaten. Of course. And the president is saying, well, y'all, we would meet at the bus station come 2027. What do you think this will look like, really?
Well, it's very hard for you to, speculate or to project what will happen in 2027. But of course, we know that, political parties will, of course, start speaking now. Representatives or those who seemingly may contest in the election will start to, talk, as we have seen from the past few weeks. But another concern are the other parties, beyond the major parties that we have already known in the past years. Will I call them smaller parties, so to speak. And this is a great time for them to also, come out, project themselves, talk to the people about what they can offer to the people, and not wait for a week
1 day to go.
1 day to go, and then go ahead and say, oh, they were cheated during the election. It's good for you as a party to, come up. You may be able to, get the chance to be a formidable opposition. At this point, we are looking at different views, different ideologies at this point. So we cannot speculate. Well,
let's wait indeed to see if that will be the case for them. One more story on the Nation newspaper before we take off to another one. It is at the bottom strip of the paper here. This is GHL, FBN's alleged appeal to order lifting Mereva abuse of court processes. There's a lot to say about this, but we all know that each time you walk into the court, the court has its own rules and regulations and must be obeyed by all parties who walk in there. But that will be it for the Nation newspaper.
And to Nigerian News Direct, which is, quite political this morning, saying that wait for next election to test your popularity. The presidency is telling opposition figures. But another concerning thing about the paper this morning is the spokesperson, Sunday Dari, saying fight is ahead, not now. Some persons will take that as a threat anyways. Atiku accuses Tinubu of promoting snatch and grab agenda, undermining democracy. That's in quotes. That's an allegation made by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Well, another story here which raises concern, but is good news for now. Police rescue 23 kidnapped victims of Kauru, reunite them with their families. I think these are the major stories on Nigerian News Direct this morning.
All right, let's get quickly to the Blueprint newspaper. And again, presidency to Nigerians on 2027, ignore opposition spreading ill will against Tinubu. Atiku will be Kwakwanso. Others should drop presidential ambition. Says they may be worse leaders. Well, I hope that's an advice they would heed to, one way or the other. And there's something else right here on the Blueprint. Americans, this is at the left corner of the paper. Americans may feel pain from tariffs, but will be worth the price. This is according to President Trump. Again, a lot of persons have said that the President Trump, who has a big win on the economy, may do well economically. So let's wait and see exactly what this will bring out. And at the bottom of the Blueprint, we have Nigeria on red alert as Uganda confirms Ebola outbreak. Olamide,
that is
we can't have a second Ebola hit this
Nigeria
country,
at this point. That is a major concern for the country. But then about, the Trump tariff, there is a lot of agenda going on, especially how it is going to, affect Nigerians, talking about deportation and all of that. But I'm sure other papers are reporting something interesting about it, which we will get to in a minute. But let's quickly look at the platform times. Murtala Mohammed attacked me over choice of Abeokuta as Ogun capital. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is saying. But Nelson, there was another story that, gathered attention during the weekend, over the weekend rather. No presidential order to reinstate Obasa, says sources. The presidency says it was a fake news alert. That's why it's very good to, confirm stories before this kind of things are being released to the public.
Yeah.
And if you have not gotten a press statement from either the presidency or the concerned individual,
you
then
cannot come out to make any bold assertion. Yeah.
But, some persons may see this may have been political.
Well, exactly where I was going to. It's political.
You decided to take the words out of my mouth.
He's trying to just.
It seemed like a reverse psychology.
Right. He's trying to throw straws out there and finding where to hold his hands on. But I mean, if I were in his shoes, I probably would do the same thing. Right?
Let's not make the allegation. Let's just leave it to the fact that it was a fake news in that sense.
And the presidency has come to debunk that.
Yeah. Well, another story here. Lagos Task Force apprehends 22 suspects using BRT terminal as hideout. It's good that the government is trying their best to, read the society, the environment where people use of these kinds of, persons. And it's also okay that, they also, bring them to book so as to ensure that everyone is safe.
Indeed. And now to insecurity. And first news is our first look this morning. This is not something very nice to smile about. Bloodbath in Ebonyi. Many killed as suspected herders attack community. Not a nice one there, guys. Serap urges Tinubu to probe missing 26 billion naira in oil sector funds. All right. And at the top banner of the first newspaper, NCDC warns against non-essential trip to as Ebola hits Uganda again. On health right there. And a little bit on economy. Telecom tariff hike, reps NCC beg NLC to shun protests. Okay. Hope the NLC would hear that. And quickly before we run off, this is from Petron, confirms petrol loading from revived Port Harcourt Warri refineries. Good news, I would say, Olamide. Port Harcourt refinery is looking like it's standing.
Well,
I like the
I'm short of words anyways, but let's hope it's actually standing. That is it's how long this is going to, last. There is hope for these refineries and, what they can bring to our economy. But as always, let's hope it will stand well in the long run.
And that will take you to the Hope newspaper.
Well, on the Hope newspaper this morning, Adeboye foresees more fire disasters in 2025 as FRSA records devastating fire accidents nationwide. Nelson, what do you say about this?
Well, I mean, that's a very fine advice. Again, even though it's coming from a source that probably not a lot of persons would be expecting, but whether that or not comes into play here, I think Nigerians, we should be on alert, whether at home, on the roads, or where else ever. That's why we all need to, in our vehicles, have, fire extinguishers and prepare for some kind of this if it happens any day, any time. And so it's a good advice from Baba Adeboye, and we should all take that with some level of seriousness.
Let's not also forget the impact of, climate change. We're seeing early rains this year. We're seeing quite a lot of differences in, weather. And so it's good that everyone takes precaution as to ensuring that they are safe this year and we do not have casualties. Another story here, Ekiti Govt sacks teacher for impregnating student. That's a very sad one. Well,
I mean, that's really sad. I mean, that teacher, of course, deserves to be, should I say? Yeah, deserves to be sacked. You cannot impregnate, that's a minor right there. And that shouldn't be. I mean, there's a lot I would have said about that, but
I think we have to, take a look at that story critically. You have to, for those who have interest in that paper, can pick the Hope newspaper to understand more as to whether the student actually was even a minor. Let's go to the next story.
Let's get to this Nigeria, and it's on Trump deportation As fears spread among Nigerians in the United States, many keep away from churches, workplaces, schools to avoid immigration and customs enforcement. Over 6,000 Nigerians may be affected. The federal government sets up a committee to tackle effects of deportation. Again, I believe this has been that you cannot be deported if you have your complete documents proving your legal stay in the United States. It's only going to affect persons who do not have their complete paper. I don't know if that is the correct thing to say.
Right. I cannot even imagine the emotional burden it has to put on you staying illegally in the country. But now that some persons are employing pastors and Muslim leaders to pray for them, perhaps it's something I should look into at this point. But that's all I have to say on that. Let's go to the leadership newspaper. Trump trade war. Nigeria orders risk imported inflation. Experts doubt Nigeria's capacity to exploit trade opportunities, and they're also predicting crude oil price fall. Let's put Nigeria first. The presidency is saying China to report Trump to the World Trade Organization as Canada, Mexico retaliates. But that's the major story on the leadership.
And we'll take the New Telegraph. At the top banner right there, you see more Nigerians go cashless as POS terminals rise by 127% to 5.56 million. This is a lot. And a few other stories there. Just one more. Dangote, why marketers can't effect immediate price cut. This is quoting Ipman and Petron. That will be it on the New Telegraph.
And very quickly to the national economy. As global economic disruption intensifies, Nigeria's backward integration plan faces tough test. The country needs to strengthen local industries urgently, stakeholders are saying, as they have always said. Nations may introduce protectionist policies to tackle Trump's sanctions. Nelson, I think this is the question on the minds of everyone, how everyone is going to, be able to, receive some of the sanctions on their economy.
Don't be afraid if you have all it takes to stay. Just do what is right. Business AM is our next paper to consider this morning. Again, this is on business. Private sector jostles for investments as global partners commit over $50 billion to Africa's energy transformation. 30 African leaders pledge firm commitment to deal. This is some good news coming in business. But for me, really, it's not about all this money coming in. It's about we as African leaders and countries, utilizing this money for the good of our people. But I'd like to leave it right there for the Business AM.
Let's go to Daily Independent. 2025 budget estimated 13 trillion naira funding gap may compound real sector growth. Experts says consumers' income erosion may push additional 13 million Nigerians into poverty. CBN reforms improving diaspora remittance. Tax reforms may also stimulate growth. But there are other people who have divergent, different views on this, that.
Right.
And, Serap urges Tinubu to probe missing 26 billion naira in Ministry of Petroleum Resources, PTDF. Well, that's it on Daily Independent.
And Nature News is our next paper to consider. Olamide, African nations endorse model climate law. I'm supposing this is like a poke in Trump's face, for taking a walk out of it. Well, cocoa fertilizer pushed Nigeria's non-oil exports to $5.6 billion in 2024. Some great good news right there. And REA launches 23 mini grids for Nigeria's underserved rural communities. This is wonderful, so that everybody can have power in their homes. Nigerian government empowers 500,000 farmers to grow rice. I think this is a time I need to switch careers to agriculture. I need to be one of them people to be growing rice, right?
Well, as always, we've always been insisting on subsistence farming. So if you have something like that behind your, house or your doorstep, it's great. Let's go to the Sporting Life.
And which is the final paper again today.
This is for you, as always. Boniface thrilled to be back. It says it feels good to score again. That is reacting to the Leverkusen 3-1 Offenham match. Tottenham confirm Luandanso's signing. I hope I'm correct. Jurek hails Aribo Onuachi and others. I think these are the major stories on the Sporting Life this morning, Nelson. Thank
you very much, Olamide. And this is where we'll hand over to Veronica and Ibrahim. But as we bring the ball to your net, Vero and Ibrahim, what do you make